three categories. It's not that they're coming only for mild infections. They had seen a drop in the protection against severe disease as well.
Do you have a view on why it appears that the efficacy of the Pfizer vaccine seems to be lesser, at least at the moment, based on some of the numbers, than the Moderna vaccine? It appears that in the case of Moderna, it has a higher efficacy, or at least a more durable efficacy. Is that a function of the fact that there's more of it, more vaccine actually that's put in the arm? Is it a function of the fact that between the first and second dose, there's a longer wait period, 4 weeks rather than 3 weeks? What do you, or is it simply the timing of what we've seen in the studies? A lot of people got Pfizer earlier.
First of all, I think that it is the wrong thing to start comparing vaccines, particularly in public, and I don't think I would like to do it. But nevertheless, given your question, I'm not convinced that one is better than the other, or it lasts longer than the other, because of the reasons that you just said, that when those studies compare, they don't adjust from the time of the second dose. And also they don't adjust from the fact that Pfizer was given way earlier to elder, high-risk people. And so we are comparing more months of since the first dose from Pfizer and very different population. But again, I said that both of them are wonderful vaccines. I don't want to make comparisons, and those that they make comparisons, they are wrong.
Albert, can you give us an update on where things stand for the vaccine approval, at least emergency use authorization for kids ages 5 to 11? We've heard a lot. The latest that we've gotten is maybe available by Halloween, but what does that actually mean? Does it really mean that our kids might actually get to the shots by then? Will it be fully distributed? Is it going to be hard to find this? Because I know you have to give different vial sizes, so as a result, it's kind of gearing up the entire process again like we did at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. We are going to be ready once FDA approves the vaccine, provided that they will approve it, to be able to distribute it. And I know that we will submit our data pretty soon. The data are very positive.
All right. Welcome back, folks. So that's big. Why? Because as talking point, it's still COVID, right? And we have the FOMC meeting today. Right now, the Americans over 18 years of age, 76.6% have received at least one dose, right? So the fully vaccinated, 66%. One thing I want to point out is Fed. So, Kashkari is Fed president, and he stated that they were going to taper when obviously strong employment jobs came, because that's what Powell has been preaching. But he did mention something about when more than 70% of the Americans are vaccinated. That's when we'll see a taper begin. But then again, maybe I should have pulled this up before I started some. I just thought it was easy because I had it. I had it the other day. Alright, so this is Minneapolis, right? It might have been in this one. Well, regardless, Kashkari, right? He is requiring all employees to be fully vaccinated at the Fed Bank of Minneapolis by the end of August. So he says they need more face-to-face contact. So they need their employees to be vaccinated. Um, all right, so he did mention that. So I want you to be mindful about that because as this number is ticking, right, and the economy is kind of making its way back. And what I mean is about the jobs data. Now, inflation's still at an all-time high. Things are still not like good, but people, I'm calling it now that people are going to see an uptick in this job data. And with the FOMC meeting today, we're looking for three important factors that Powell preaches on. One, no tapering yet. Two, waiting for that word, substantial further progress. Are we still waiting on that? Three, this kind of goes hand in hand with one, with the taper, but pretty much interest rates, keeping them low, and only because of the 10-year and the dollar, and obviously the job data. So with wage inflation actually making an uptick, but inflation is still spiraling out of control. And in my video of yesterday, I pointed out how FedEx pretty much blamed their earnings on labor shortage because they had to spend more money on a third party for delivery services. And Macy's is coming out saying that they're hiring 76,000 more workers, but then Stitch Fix earnings comes out and blows it out of the water because it seems like a lot of people are more in tune to just ordering something online, and if you could buy it once you try it on, then so be it. And if you can return it, then so be it, because it's at your convenience, right? Why go to the store if you can have it directly shipped to your front door? So job data is going to be something that we pay attention to as we zoom out, right, for 5 years, right? So this is the 5-year. That makes sense. All right, so we did make a very, very good comeback, right? But one thing that is important is the unemployment rate. Now it's at 5.2%. Now this is, so you could see we're still at a high, right? So this is what I'm getting at, is the job data is still big because even though unemployment benefits ended, there are still some areas in the U.S. that have shelled out tax credits. And so does that mean you necessarily have to work? No, but there's also UBI depending on your circumstances as well. So when initial jobless claims come out, right? So tomorrow this comes out, 332. Now we're looking at this number to take a step downwards to about 300. I wonder what they have. All right, so they don't have it forecast. Oh wait. So they're forecasting 310,000. I think that this number might be better than that, just because I'm starting to see people in my industry with work start hiring and actually coming back to the workforce, but they are also outsourcing. So that's a different beast as well. So this is what I want us to pay attention to when FOMC meeting comes out today. It's going to be important because right now, let's move this over. Okay, so we got nothing there. All right, so we got the SPY, right? SPY is up. No, yep, SPY is up at 435.34 right now. So what we need to look at today, right? Now I mentioned this is the low of Monday. So this is what we want to pay attention to, because if we touch this, here, let me just go do this. Let's get rid of some of these. I'll keep that there. All right. So looking at the daily chart, this is what we want to look at today and see if this holds. So as we are actually up about $2, pushing 636 maybe. Gonna take a look at the 15-minute chart. So I'm gonna zoom out here. So one thing that I don't mention that much because I'm not, I'm getting better at this, right? So that's the whole thing. So we saw the bottom out, right, at 428. So if I zoom out, let's just see this right now on the 15-minute. So all right, so that's all we got. Okay, that's fine. So if this could be a fake bounce. So what we need to look at today is if we close, or if we get back to is this Friday's close. So this would be the key indicator, and what I'm going to do actually is do this. This area is the key indicator today to see what happens. The reason why is because look at the continuing trend since it bottomed, right? It's a fake out. So looked like the dip was going to be bought, drove it up until yesterday. Yep, until yesterday. And futures up, or I should say pre-market up, and then down right as soon as the open. So let's zoom in here a little bit more though. So what we need to look at is the consolidation. So this is the 15-minute, right? Now 30-minute might be better, because what I try to look for is the consolidation, and the consolidation shows where that strongness is going towards. So this is what's kind of iffy, right? So on the 15-minute chart, if we're looking at that, it kind of looks like it's a true rebound, right? Because the volume is there also, but this doesn't tell me this is a strong hold, because if we do zoom back into the 15 minutes, right? Now that was yesterday. Now this is 5:15, 5:30, 3:45. Sorry, I'm going in military time, so it's 3:45, 3:30, 3:15. Market closes at 4, right? So what I try to look for in consolidation is at least an hour, 30 minutes, depending on like the movement, because let's just say now the reason why I say 30 minutes is just because if I'm trying to make a play, like an overnight play, that is something that I might look for. But then if a news or like earnings might be coming out. It depends on the circumstance. Like if earnings are coming out and there's 30 minutes left in the trading day, or maybe it's Friday and options are expiring, because things could get volatile in that last 30 minutes, and I have been monitoring the stock, I will look at least 30 minutes of consolidation, just because I want to see. So if I'm looking at just 30 minutes, I'll go down to the 5-minute candle. And the 5-minute candle, because this will show more of a shorter time frame on where the price action is actually taking place. So when you look at the 5-minute, you can actually see that the momentum like cooled off, even though on the 15-minute and 30-minute candle we were looking pretty good. So with this consolidation, to me, it is a solid one above, but this is what we have to be mindful of. The consolidation was right at yesterday's open. Or, I'm sorry, oh my goodness. Jeez Louise. Okay, so here we go. So the consolidation, right? Now, this is where the bottom was yesterday. Double bottom right there. Couldn't really pass it. So the fact that it held that throughout the day, right? That's where yesterday dipped off. showed signs of support, but at the same time, let's see if we scroll in here. So that was the 20th. This was yesterday. So this is 15:30. So this is 3:30 at the moment. And from pretty much 12 o'clock, we couldn't break over that 436 line, right? So we couldn't get back over yesterday's, well, actually it is over it, but we couldn't hold it. So the high yesterday, or Monday, was 436. And what's this? 437, 437. This got to be 436. Yep, 436 right here. It might be right at it. So we couldn't get over that open from that previous day on Monday. So that tells me that this was a strong, somewhat of a strong resistance area to get back over there. So to me, it's not necessarily that bullish, but we are pushing up. Now the SPY is over 436 at the moment. So look for that sell-off. I really do think the same trend is going to happen. Push higher, and then open happens, and give it a couple hours, and then things will start to sell off until the FOMC meeting, depending on what is said. So here we go. Let's move some of these around. Now my key next level, is really this low right here, because that was a big step. And then the next one after that, probably have to look at the weekly for this one. So yeah, if I'm looking at the weekly, I'm looking at right about here, and then possibly all in a matter of days or weeks, we could be there. So now I want to zoom into the 30-minute chart. All right, so bottom down, and I pointed out for some reason at 2:30, 3 o'clock, stock just bounced off of Monday's lows, and it was really weird. So that's something to be mindful about. But triple Qs, right? Now, I don't think the triple Qs really is something to worry about at this point in time. And I say that only because, let me get rid of this, and this is messing everything up, is because interest rates are low. This tracks the top NASDAQ technology companies, and that's pretty much growth plays. So I really don't think that triple Qs are gonna like go bad. So if I zoom in a little more to the 15-minute, now we broke that line, right, of support, but we're staying in this price channel. So what I'm looking for is to break that level, and then that will signify how strong that momentum is, because the volume here was I mean strong, right? Like I think that would be a very high play, but what I want you to be mindful at is where do we close? Right around the previous day's open, right? So now we're kind of, this is like the same chart as the SPY. It's just a game. Like it's kind of bullshit because like this is just algorithms. Like, oh, it's like, nah, yesterday's open, nah, not feeling that. Same, not feeling that. We have to await some data. But triple Q's up right now, 367.30. So looking at it to get across this amount right here, 360, 369.39. That's the line that I'm looking for. So let's look at some individual stocks at the moment. All right, so let's look at ATR. This is one that I posted up. Oh yeah, and we're making moves. All right, so yesterday was HLBZ. This is looking like it's going to be ATER. So real quick, let me zoom out on a daily candle. So I covered this in my video recap yesterday. So I'm not going to go too far into it, but ATR, we have a long ways to go. This is a short squeeze play. I went over the interest data yesterday too. I believe it's still the same. I'm not sure how fast this updates, so hold on. So yeah, so it didn't change yet. I think that's just, yeah, so the all right, yeah, so that was recorded on September. So depending on like the short data, some of it you get every 2 days, like the T2 rule. You can't tell if shorts have returned shares until 2 days after it has happened. So what this is telling me is somewhere between here, right? Probably these 2 days is where shorts, let me do that, yeah, is where shorts returned shares and closed at their positions, and then the next day they just unloaded, and whatever firms then unloaded here and was able to reload back down here. But then on the 17th of Friday, quadruple witching, this started to catch wind and move up. So what I have here is the Fibonacci retracement, and we recaptured that 38.2 fib line. But the key number here is to close between, really looking to close between this 14 number, right, where this little dip occurred, that 14 number, and like 1635. But if we hold or recapture the 23.6 fib line at 1525, that's fine too. I mean, that's a very bullish move. But if the short interest and a squeeze actually plays, we'll be looking at $19 in a blinking of an eye. And if we break through $19, we could definitely see 26 right before then. So this is going to be that resistance area that we see. And if we break 19 and 20, then whew, who knows what is going to happen, because this is a vicious move. I mean, let's break it down into the 30-minute chart. So, oh, why does it do that? So 30-minute chart, we found support at 61 fib line, right, at 910. And let's see. So this is when it hit the high. And then, like I said, shorts probably returned between these 2 days, which made them reload on this day. Or maybe new shorts entered the ball game, which that could definitely happen too. And now we are pushing upwards. So yeah, like that 1525, that is going to be the key mark, but I would like to see it obviously hold higher, probably on that open when we dip. So September 14th open, if we get back to there today or even within the next day, I really do think that that is going to trigger excuse me, FOMO, and people are going to buy in and actually drive this up, because that happens. And you can see the RSI on the 30-minute is slightly oversold, right? Or overbought. But look at the daily. Now the daily it's not even close, because a volume just ticked a little up the previous day, and we're looking at volume to continue high like that, so that we could see that pump. So hopefully that does happen. And good old AMC. So AMC right now is down at the moment. So this is big. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and delete these because they're old. But this actually I will hold, because that is going to be resistance now, depending if we get back there. So probably be more right there. And now what we're looking at now, AMC is at $38. So pretty much I'm looking at really nothing here. We close this gap back here, so really I think the support is going to show somewhere between the low 30s to high 29s. That's my opinions on that. Or maybe we might show yeah, we might show right here, so what, $31. But this area could be support right here too. So we'll watch that 37.36. I don't want to get too much into AMC, because I think it is going to still continue to pull down. I could be wrong though, so hopefully I am. So one stock that was a monster yesterday was HLBZ, and now look at it. So it hit a high of $48.88, but now is at $26.97. So we zoom in on the 30-minute time frame. Came out with news that a partnership with Amazon is expected, and then it blasted off. So I actually made a play on it, made a few $100s, nothing crazy. I said that yesterday, but it was really, I mean, a few hundred, 200, same thing. So right now we're just consolidating, and it looks like that, what was this? Friday's high is holding support. So I'm really looking at that area before a move higher bounces. So like I said, we're at 26.97, could push up, who knows, but looking at that 25 area to see if it bounces back up. So let's see. And then if it doesn't really, I mean, I'm looking at it to get over this pretty much hour and a half of downwards. And that's when it'll really catch my attention because this was moving. So let's look into another one. So this is another short squeeze play. All right, so 30-minute time frame. Now pre-market blasted up to what, $8.20, but then since then have been downward. So what this tells me is that shorts were actually probably closing out positions because this was what, Monday? Yeah, this was Monday morning. My thoughts are this was running up. Social media was getting crazy with Reddit and even the Yahoo boards. It's crazy. And so they saw this happening, and then they decided that they were going to close out positions, and then maybe more shorts entered or they reloaded. So I'm really looking for us to recapture yesterday's previous high open and the previous day's close. So looking for that $6.50 range to about $7. So if we get back to there, then that's a very good sign in momentum because volume yesterday wasn't that high, but the last Friday it was high off the open. Like this looked good to me. This was a nice pullback, followed up. See, this is what I'm talking about with consolidation, right? So I'm looking at this stock Friday. Now this is going to be a good lesson. Same with this. We see that push off the 30-minute candle and then pretty much comes back down to retest for a bigger move up. And then we consolidated above 2 days close, right? So let's just say the low was here, which was $5.81. So that was even above the previous 2 days closes as well. So the fact that that was the low after hitting that high, right? Then we stayed above consolidating. So 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So 3 hours. Now that is a solid consolidation period on the 30-minute time frame. That is something I'm looking forward to. And what happened? A big move happened in aftermarket hours on Thursday, and then Friday, look what happened. So that is what I'm talking about, the consolidation. And even this one here. So this is what tells me is that shorts got worried and they closed out positions pre-market because us retailers don't have the same benefits as they do. And then obviously reloaded or more shorts entered. And this was what, Monday? Yeah, this was Monday. But we're seeing the support at what? Because right here is holding as the low. So it is the 13th, September 13th close pretty much is holding as that support. So that's a good sign. So the price range that I'm looking for, right, to hold is that $6.11, but I'm looking for us to break that $6.85 to $7 mark. So you want to recapture Friday's close, and I think that is doable, as well as Monday's open. So if we recapture both those, that's a good sign. We recapture one, it's still a decent sign. So that is what I'm looking at the moment. Let's see what else we have. Let me look at Lucid. Okay, so Lucid was another one that I brought up because of the options. So let's zoom out real quick, and then I gotta get going. So Lucid bottomed out right around what, $16, and then you saw the freaking heavy buy back in. So that matches with right here. So January, right? January 2021, 2, 3. All right, so matches with that support. And to me, I mean, the strong support area would have been like right here, pretty much, but it broke through it. So to me, actually, if I'm doing support off the wicks, right? But if I go back here, because what should happen is you don't want to go recent to back, you want to go back to forward, right? So if I'm going off the bodies of this, I'm going from right here, and it closed, right? It closed above this line. So to me, that's showing a bullish rebound. So the fact that we came above it, right? And then we pushed higher, now it just kept on running. And now the RSI is slightly overbought. And now what I'm going to do is zoom into the 30-minute time frame. Well, wait. Resistance is right here. Obviously, it shows that right here. So if we break that resistance, which we're playing with it right now, I mean, looking at Lucid to retest 35, and that could be something that I'm getting into. We do have a gap right here. That is a massive gap. So opened up at 62, closed at 57. Wow. Yeah. So there's going to be major resistance at 44. But for Lucid right now, I mean, looking at this trend, right? So we just been downward since, and I would probably do this, right? So this is going to be one lesson. So if I'm doing this, this is what I'm looking at right now. And obviously, well, this would be already here because I would have this already there. But I probably would have adjusted it when, yeah, so I definitely would have adjusted that. So this is what I'm looking at, and this is the downwards resistance, and I'm looking for this to break over it. And once that happens, then we're looking at $33 to test that area, and then that's when we get to that higher amount. So between, I think, 35 and 50 is going to be the big areas of resistance, but I don't think Lucid is going to get that far in that quick of time, to be honest. Just because, I mean, it went from what, 16 to 27 in a matter of 20 days. So who knows, 20 days, it could get back up there without a doubt, but I don't think it's going to rush up there anytime soon. And let's just zoom in on the 30-minute time frame, see what we got going on today. So sentiment right now and then trend is still bullish. Looking at it to break over that line, right, that I just said. So if that breaks over that line, going to retest that other resistance area. But I think the way that's been looking at is the consolidation period. So this stock has either been consolidating strongly on the high side, or it actually just pushes higher. So that's a good sign, and like that's why this pullback, this makes sense, because from here to here, right, that's a pretty great play if you got in there, or even if you're investing in it. That's what you want to see a stock do. And then when a stock pulls back, you want to be able to find that area so that you could buy back in. So Lucid, I could see Lucid's definitely going to be positive today. If it's not, look for it to hold $24. if it starts to pull back. So that would be the area that I look at for today. And then I would pay attention to gold and the dollar. So I got to run. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget all, go long.